So it's really important that we focus on children's well-being right from the very start of education, because happy children, healthy children will learn well and learn better.
Welcome to Lessons for Life. I'm Gabbie.
I'm Marnie.
And today we're interviewing
Lucy and Jonathan
from HeadteacherChat. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having us. We're really pleased to be here.
So, can you tell me about your job and what the focus of your work is?
So we run HeadteacherChat, which is a support network for all head teachers and school leaders across the country. And so we do a load of support work for them and helping them out, basically.
Imagine that, lots of head teachers.
Were you ever head teachers yourself?
Well,
yeah, we were.
Yes, yeah. Jonathan was a head teacher for a long time. I was only head teacher for a little while.
Do you miss it?
Some days, yes, some days, no. Some days, I love the community and being with all the children and telling them all stories and really bad jokes.
Yeah,
and then
really
on other
jokes.
days, it's a very busy role.
What would you like to achieve through your work at HeadteacherChat?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is. We want to help as many head teachers and school leaders across the country. We want to give them a support network so they feel that they can really succeed in their role. So we want to do that for them in many different ways. We do coaching, support, and so we don't want them ever to be stuck.
Or feel alone.
Or alone.
Sometimes, when you're all working together, it makes it better. And we feel like if we all work together, we can make it better for everyone. And so we want to make sure that every school leader feels like there's somebody out there that can help them when they need it.
That's really nice.
Thank you.
We're interviewing you as a part of the Lessons for Life campaign.
Why do you think the Lessons for Life campaign is important?
At our heart, we are early years teachers. And I taught nursery and reception. Lucy taught reception for many, many years. And part of the whole curriculum in reception is about personal development. And it's about creating curiosity and being kind and all those it's a big part of that curriculum. However, when it goes further up to school, like in primary school and secondary school, it's not a big part as it should be. And we're saying actually part of this is it should be part of it. At the end of reception, we measure how the children have got on in personal development, but then we never do it again. So we don't know how their personal development has improved over their school life. So in some ways, this is where Lesson for Life comes in, is actually we can then track children's personal development across the whole school into secondary and high school.
We think it's really important that children have a good basic understanding of how to look after themselves and how to be happy and healthy.
And you were saying about there's a report last week, wasn't it?
There was. So last week, a special organisation called Ofsted wrote a report about early years classes, and that's basically reception classes. And what they found was that not enough focus was put on teaching children how to behave, good attitudes to learning, and all of those that good stuff that comes out of personal development teaching. Not enough focus was put onto that because teachers felt they didn't have time to do it. What Ofsted is saying is that we should have time to do it, and that actually it's really important to teach children those things, because if we don't, they're not going to learn very well.
That's really interesting.
Thank you.
What problems in society do you think education could fix?
If there's any issue, whatever it is, most of it can be solved by teaching somebody something. There's always a better way to do something and a better way to be. And so if whatever problem there is in society, it can always be fixed by learning something new, trying something new. And so there's so many possibilities, really, that you think of. All sorts of things where, might go wrong in life, or issues that you might have when you grow up. All of those things can be sorted with good people behind you looking after you and showing you what to do instead.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah, well, I can think of lots.
Yeah, well, a good one would be water safety, wouldn't it? So learning how to swim. So every primary school child has to learn how to swim by the time they leave school, and that could help save many people's lives. So that's where education does work.
Great answer.
Thanks.
We're now at the back to school segment.
Can you tell me what your experience with PSHE or life skills education was like when you were both in school?
It's a long time ago, that is.
It is a bit of a long time ago. And I think the whole thing of when we were in primary school was very different from nowadays. So the whole education was about growing the child, and it wasn't so much accountability and all the other foundation skills and all those sort of things. So the learning wasn't as structured as it is now in all aspects. So in some ways for PSHE, it would probably be better back then because there wasn't so many other pressures on school leaders and teachers in schools.
That's true, because nowadays all teachers and head teachers have to make sure that the children are learning everything that they're asked to teach. And there isn't much time in the timetable to do other things which they might need to do, like teaching personal development, for example. Sometimes they need more time than there actually is. But when we were younger, all of those pressures weren't there. And so teachers could use that time if they wanted to do that. And when we were at school, I remember my assemblies being particularly focused on that kind of lessons. So we'd learn about road safety, we'd learn about looking after our physical health, and we'd also, in our cooking lessons, we'd learn how to cook and make a nice meal and things like that. So we did have some lessons like that. I don't remember very many. Do you?
No, but it wasn't as structured as it is nowadays.
No.
I think that's the difference. And so I think a lot of skills were taught, but it wasn't in a structured way.
Yeah.
We're now going to test your knowledge.
This hat contains some life skill questions. I'm going to ask you to pick a card.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you. Ooh.
The topic is computer safety. True or false? It is okay to share pictures of our friends online without their consent.
That's definitely false. We should always make sure that we've got permission to share a photo before we do so.
Question number 2. What are 3 positives of being online?
Oh, that's a nice question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
You can keep up to date with all the latest updates on news and things like that, so that's much better than what it used to be. You got the other part of connecting. I've got family across the world, and actually we can do Zoom calls and contact and keep in contact with the family. Third one, what do you reckon?
Third one I would say is learning new things, because it's like a library for the world, isn't it, the internet? So yeah, you can learn all sorts of stuff online. It's really interesting.
And the last question is, if you were worried about how a friend is behaving online, what could you do?
Tell someone at school, tell your parents, tell an adult, a responsible adult, what's going on. Especially if you go to school, tell someone who is one of the DSLs in school if you're worried about it, so they're trained in actually dealing with that situation.
You can always tell somebody, and somebody will always help you, and you will never be in trouble for doing so.
You two have lots of knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
Lucy, can you tell us your biggest life lessons today?
Yes, I can, and I think it's the most important one for all of us to think about, actually, and that is to look after our health and our well-being, because there's nothing more important than your own health and well-being. So things like exercising, eating well, getting a good sleep, looking after yourself, being safe when you're out and about, being safe online, all of those things will help to make you a much happier and healthier person.
Jonathan, if you could change one thing about education, what would it be?
I would change the focus on doing more in schools to support children's well-being and mental health, and so we have a much more support across the whole of primary stage and high school. We have a curriculum that actually works with the children and find out what they need to know and how we can support them in their lives.
Because happy children, healthy children will learn well and learn better. So it's really important that we focus on children's well-being right from the very start of education.
If you could teach children one thing before they leave primary school, what would it be?
How to be happy, safe and healthy. I suppose that's 3 things really, isn't it? How to look after themselves.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Before we finish this interview, is there anything you would like to say to our listeners today?
If you can support the campaign and help all of our children have a better, happier, healthier start in life, then please do so. Head over to the Lessons for Life website, have a look at it, look at the campaign and sign the petition. It's really important that we all come together to support children's well-being right from the very start in life. So we'd love your support.
Jonathan, where can our viewers find more about Head Teacher Chat?
Well, you can head over to our website, www.headteacherchat.com, where there's all the different types of support that we offer. We got this new thing where we've actually got a community of loads of head teachers who are helping each other out and asking each other questions and supporting in coaching calls and networking and things like that. So we're doing a lot of that at the moment. So you go to our social media on Twitter and Facebook, got a massive group of head teachers all and school leaders who support each other on there. So there's many ways to get in contact with us. But do get in contact because we're here to help.
If you want to find out more, visit lessonsforlife.org.